Voltamos com um programa de TV dedicado ao verdadeiro heavy metal, que agora traz pra você uma entrevista exclusiva com a banda holandesa Epica. É coisa que você só vê aqui no Stay Heavy.
Estou aqui com a Simone Simons, o Isaac e o Cohen do Epica, eles que irão fazer os shows no Brasil em breve, e a gente vai bater um papo com eles para saber as novidades da banda. Hello guys, how are you?
Hello.
How is it to be for the third time in Brazil?
Very good. We had a very long flight, 12 hours, but I watched almost 5 movies, so the time went by really fast, and we're happy to be back here.
And what do you think is the difference between the first time you came here in 2005 and now?
Well, the first time there were 2 other band members and the weather was better. Today it's raining, you can see it, but we didn't expect this for Sao Paulo this year. But I think it's going to be a bigger show. 2005 we were support for Camelot, and 2008 was our first headline show. Was pretty great, and now we play an even bigger venue, so it's going to be great.
Okay, and what's your expectation for the first time in Brazil?
Well, I heard a lot about the other guys and girl, of course, about Brazil and South America, and I've done the Mexico area already, which was crazy, and I heard this is even more crazy, so it's gonna be killer, I guess, yeah.
Great. And okay, talking about the new album, it was released last year, Design Your Universe, and it was considered for many people the best album of the group. How do you evaluate the evolution of the band along these years of career?
Well, Koen said we have now another new band member. We have Isaac and Arjen, which were also contributing to the writing process. The album is heavier, it's more complex, and all the styles within Epica, it's bigger, it's heavier, it's more complicated. My vocals are more versatile, I tried out different things, and it's the most, grown up album so far. We're all very happy about it, and it was much heavier than the previous record, so we were not sure how the people would react to it. But they react well to the CD, and they react well to when we play the songs live. So.
Great. And like you have already told it, but the formation changed, and I think it contributed for this new album. What do you have to say about your presence in Epica, and how do you contribute with it?
I come I'm more like a death metal guitar player, or used to be like that. And I concentrate more on the guitar riffs themselves, like the melody in the guitar, whereas in previous albums with the previous guitar player, the guitar was more like a rhythm guitar and not really melodically present or something. And so I think it's just more interesting. There's more going on, like in the total thing, in the total music. So because you have the melodies in the vocals, in the keyboards, like the orchestration, and now also in the guitars, and there are solos on the album. So that's slightly different. I'm just a different guitar player than the previous one. So, and that is, I guess, why they asked me, just because they also wanted to explore that side, but to make it a little more interesting. So.
That's a good package.
And how is the impact of the new CD worldwide, and which place do you have more feedback? Is Ireland the places you are like you have this response of the media and public, or do you have other country where it's a better result?
Well, the Netherlands is where it all started. When Epica was just a baby back then, we were playing a lot in the Netherlands, so we have a very solid fan base in the Netherlands. But the reactions from the fans worldwide were as good from Brazil as from the Netherlands. And it's not that the Netherlands we have more fans. We're actually doing really well in Latin America, and so far, also the Brazilian fans were supporting us from the start. I think when we didn't even have the CD, when we had the demo tracks, everybody was already a fan. So we are equally thankful to all the fans for the support. It's not that like we have our favorites.
And how is the work with Nuclear Blast? We are completing now 3 years with them. And how is the label work? And the situation of the band with Transmission Records? Do you still wait for copyrights with them? How is this thing?
It's complicated. But first of all, we're very happy with Nuclear Blast. They're a huge record company, and they have a huge expertise they have big bands. They worldwide. They have Nuclear Blast Brazil and a couple of meters away. So they did a great job for us. The last record sold the most, so it's going uphill, and we are very thankful for that. And with Transmission Records, Nuclear Blast is still handling some stuff, but it's going slow. Same with the DVD, which we recorded in 2005 or 2005. Paradiso, still not released. So we are trying our very best to handle everything so we can continue.
Hope you have some results soon. After the release of Divine Conspiracy, you had some health problem, and Amanda Somerville was invited to replace you for a moment. Did you bother to see another singer in your place, or even if it was temporary, how did you feel about it?
It sucked big time because first of all, it's not cool to be sick, and second of all, it's not nice if your band is on tour with a different singer. But we were talking about this to do the tour or not. If I wouldn't be better, what would we do then? We should have a plan B, and we did all agree to ask Amanda to be my substitute. Since her voice is kind of similar, the band knows her. She knows all the songs. She's singing on a choir. She's doing backing vocals, so she would be the perfect person to do it. But back then I thought I'm gonna be better. But then when I went to the doctor and the results were negative, he says you gotta stay home. It was like it hit me real hard. So what I did then, when the guys were on tour, I didn't want to check out videos on YouTube. I wanted to be better so I could back on track and on tour with Epica. That was a little bit a nightmare period, but luckily that's all far behind me, and I like to think forward and not backwards.
Great. And talking about health, this year you were involved in an accident in Canada, right? How was this scary episode?
It was indeed in Canada, in the mountains. There was a car coming from a different direction. She lost control through the curve as she was slipping like this, and she hit the side of the bus. Luckily our driver really reacted in a good way. He was very quick, so he was driving into the side of the road. Otherwise it would have been a frontal crash, and we all woke up because of the sound, and we were shaking through the bus, and I was afraid somebody got hurt big time, or that we had some kind of animal all over the bus. Yeah, like, oh shit, that's gonna be nasty. But I put photos online, also on the Epica website, where you could see that the other car the woman was driving in was totally falling apart, and the bus was kind of okay. We were lucky, we could continue. Oh yeah, nobody got hurt luckily. But it was very scary because we were all asleep, and you have to feel safe, and once something like that happens, you go asleep and you think, oh shit. You kind of gotta get faith again, but we knew that our bus driver reacted well, so we could trust him with that, and we all slept like babies that night.
And the other person wrote on our guest book, like, I told you I would check it out, and she checked out our music and all that stuff.
Yeah?
So. And then she wrote she liked it, so it's good.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know.
And then she went to the concert. Okay, and in 2008 we recorded the classical Conspiracy. How was this show and the preparation for this gorgeous event?
Well, it was a lot of preparations, and I think it's one of the highlights of the shows we ever did. It was the first time, or the first real time with a big orchestra and choir. And of course it took us half a year to prepare all the stuff. Simone's boyfriend Oliver helped us a lot. And it took a week of But it was all worth it, and I think the album says it all because it's great, or at least I think it's great.
You will release the single "This Is the Time," and all the earnings of this music will go to WWF. I'd like to know why did you have this idea, since like Netherlands is a place that have always been ahead in the environmental top, and now you're giving the example. I'd like you to talk a little about it.
Well, first of all, the song is written by Isaac, our new man, and the lyrics have been written by Mark. And Mark has always been, he's a member of WWF, and he's already done this huge cycling tour that was in 2008. Good one, where he collected money. He did this huge tour through the French mountains to collect money, and he thought Isaac's song was a good one for it. It's a very, how do you say, suitable song for the big public. And since when you're playing in a band, we're writing lyrics, people read it and think about it. So it's a good way to make people think. You don't have to force them to think the same, but just to make them think about it. Yeah, that's true. And beginning of March, I recorded the video for it. I went to Hilversum. We recorded the video with the same guy who recorded Quietus a couple of years ago. And yeah, a lot of fans already gave us a positive response. It's good that you do stuff for the world, and yeah, I hope we can pass on the message that we have to handle the earth with a little bit more care and a little bit more respect.
Okay, and what's your next plans? Where are you going after the South American tour?
We have a couple of single shows then some summer festivals. We're working on a new US tour at the end of the year, and maybe some parts that we kind of forgot, like UK and Scandinavia, Eastern Europe, maybe Japan or something, but you know. So I think we need a break now after this one, but it's not gonna be, like for the summer it's gonna be some festivals, but pretty calm for the rest. And then next year we already gonna use that time to start writing new songs, and then 2011 that would be recording and pre-producing the new album.
Hi guys, we're Epica, half of Epica to be honest, 3 of the 6. You are watching Stay Heavy.